Good afternoon, guys. I wanted to welcome you to our first funnel review that we're doing. We're doing a webinar funnel review. If you're part of our group on Facebook, you've probably already seen it live. If you're not on our Facebook group, then you haven't seen it, and we'd like to invite you to come join our Facebook group. Sorry about the phone ringing. I thought I turned those off. So there's the link to our Facebook group, Webinar Marketing. It's a fun group. We're doing a lot with it. And if you want to follow along with this launch and actually see the things that I've seen and go through it your own way, put a link there. I'll put it down in the comments later so that you can just copy and paste it and be able to go and do it. So as I'm going through this, if you guys have any questions, just let me know. And we'll do what we can to get you guys straightened out. So on to the first page. When we think about funnel hacking has kind of been a hot topic for the last couple of years. And I think one of the unfortunate things is that people focus primarily on the physical part of the funnel, right? What OTOs or one-time offers did they make, or upsells or downsells or all that kind of thing. What's the actual pieces? What's the landing page look like, and this and that and the other? Well, all those are important. I want to also talk about the psychology of each step and things that you're going to do, because the psychology of it is much more important than probably anything else. The rest of the pieces you can screw up. As long as you have the psychology right, you can make it work through testing and tweaking and integrating. The problem is you can't test and tweak your understanding of the psychology of the sales process. So in this case, the initial contact, right? That's the first place we want to look. In this funnel, it is, I had a JV broker reach out to me and ask if I was interested in promoting a product. Well, I always like to go through the flow and see what they're doing to figure out, does this make a good fit for the audience that I've got, and see if it's something that we're going to do. So the initial contact in this case is probably not going to be very helpful in understanding what this funnel looks like. They're primarily bringing in warm traffic of people that are new to internet marketing or relatively new to internet marketing. And they're going to use that, and you'll see that in everything that they do as they go along through it. So that's the important thing to remember as we get there. There's no initial ad for us to look at. I am going to walk you through the landing page, the thank you page, the webinar presentation structure, the checkout pages that they have. I didn't actually buy the product, so you're not going to be able to see the thank you pages, but if you're really wanting to funnel hack somebody, you need to go through their thank you pages. And then we'll look at their follow-up sequences, retargeting ads, what platforms they're using, whether or not they're using text messaging, email, chat bots, all those kinds of things, because those are all important as well. So this is the landing page, right? They've got a pretty decent hook, the instant email list. The only thing that really aggravates me, I guess, through this whole process that we go through it, this is pretty much the only place you see this hook. I think it's a really good hook, the instant email list. They lead a lot of times with some other taglines that I think are good, but I just don't think they have the power of the instant email list. If I was them, I would change just about everything they're doing to talk about the instant email list over and over and over and over and over again, because that is the hook. And one thing that you want to do is you want to be consistent in your branding, right? You want to be consistent in everything you do, from your landing page to everywhere else you go. Now, I will say this. There's two things that probably prevent this one from being advertised on Facebook too much, unless you're going to take it through a bridge page and build some other value with somebody before you lead them to this. And that's going to be the testimonials that you're going to see on some of the pages. One of the things that you always have to be aware of when you're promoting a product is the landing page is going to get looked at by Facebook as well. And if the landing page is non-compliant with things like making claims or implied claims, then they're going to shut you down. And one of the claims that this one makes is the second one, how to grow your email list for free, how to never spend your money, right? Those are claims, and there's some other ones down below it. And they'll even look at the testimonials. The testimonials themselves make claims. I made this much money in this amount of time. And unfortunately, Facebook is not going to look very happy about that. So they got this great hook, the instant email list. They've got a pre-header, attention. I would have probably bolded that to draw a little more attention to it, because your eye is going to pick things up kind of from a left to right this way. So you're going to read this, and then you're going to come through here to see claim my spot, their images, and then finish up on these bullets. This is above the fold. These are the things you're going to see on your webpage when you first go to this website. And that is something that is important to know as well. So 3 good bullets. It is a live training. They are using GoToWebinar. It's interesting. It's a pseudo live, which we'll talk about that later as we go through some of the other sections. This is the part that you kind of see the rest of it. They've got down here at the very bottom, free gift just for registering, right? Personally, I think I would test moving that up to the first claim your free spot button, because with it being below the fold, many people aren't going to see it, especially with their spot up there. Now, leaving it down below means that you're going to get people that are curious but not quite committed at the very top. They're going to be the ones that are reading it, and you want to kind of give them a little bit of push. So it could be that they tested it and it works out better here, because if you're already excited and you click that first button, then there's no point to do this. But when you get that email, you get a kind of a free bonus that you didn't even know anything about. So that's one thing to look at when you're doing these, is what could I test on above the fold and below the fold to be able to get these things to do it. So they got six good bullets here, talking about how to get email subscribers, how to get it for basically free, how to do it get daily things going on so that you can get money. Really, again, they're focused on people that are new to internet marketing. Their 4-part training series is the email list quick start profit plan. Again, I think I would change it to the instant email quick start profit plan, just so you get that same branding all the way through it. I think it's just a high value to do it that way. So when you click, yep, I want to do it, it pops up this kind of normal online webinar training form, first name, email address, your phone number for text alerts. So they are using text messaging as a follow-up, and that's important to note. It's something that everybody wants to do, because it's just another way to contact people, and I'll show you some other things that they're doing as well. Now, when you're doing funnel hacking for a webinar, or for any other funnel for that matter, one thing you want to do is be able to track what emails come in and everything else. So I always use a tracking email. You don't have to go create up a new one or anything else. If you use Gmail, one of the things that you can do with Gmail is you can put a period in between your name. So mine is first.lastname@gmail.com. Not literally, but my first.lastname@gmail.com. I can leave that dot out and just put first name, last name @gmail.com with no dot, or I can do S.C.O.T.T. all the way through my name and put a period between every letter, and it gives me a unique email address as far as Gmail is concerned. They all come to the same inbox, but when you go to filter it, you can filter for things like sent to Scott ... Lovinggood, @gmail.com. All those dots go into a specific place. Some sign-up systems also allow you to use the plus at the end of it, so you could have first dot last name plus webinar registration, so that you can filter them that way. You want to be careful that you don't create something like webinar hacking live@gmail.com, because then if people see it, they may delete you and not get any of your emails. So you want to do this as a real customer, kind of as a real viewpoint, but you want to do it in such a way that it doesn't really interfere and impact your actual real inbox. So that's what I talk about. Sorry, I should have skipped to that. The periods are pretty neat. The plus works on some, but not all of them. So I tend to stick with the periods and just use 4 or 5 different formats for specific things, and just dump them all into a folder so I can go back later and look at that folder and it doesn't interfere with my inbox. So there's some pretty cool rules in Gmail that allow you to do that kind of thing. Then the other thing you want to look at is what kind of analytics and tracking do they have going on. Once you get to their page, you can go to a site called builtwith.com and run a report. It's free to sign up. You don't have to pay for anything, and you just put in their web address and it pulls up all the things that they have on it. Now here they're using Hotjar, which gives you heat maps and some other pretty cool things. Mixpanel, which is kind of a professional level analytics system. Google Analytics, which is free, we all use. They've got the Facebook Pixel, so they are building a custom audience. Visual Website Optimizer, which is a way to do split test on your website. Now, their website is built on Apache. It's just straight HTML. It's not a WordPress website, which means it's going to be a little bit faster loading, and they're going to have some other things. Now, Proof is the one down here at the very bottom. It's the one if you've ever been on a page where the little thing pops up in the bottom left. You'll notice that the pages we were on, I didn't see that. I didn't see it on their webinar sign-up page. I didn't see it on their any of the other pages that I've been on their site. So it may be that they've got it turned off right now, or they only use it on specific pages, because what it did was it found it. Had an interesting discussion last week with several people in the online world that do things quite a bit, and some of them hated the concept of Proof because they said every test they ran, it lowered their conversions. Some of them loved it because they said every test they ran, it improved their conversions. So what I seem to come to conclusions from talking to these guys is that those that were using it strictly on a sales page, it tended to lower conversions because it gave you a distraction, something to pull your mind away from the sales letter that they were doing. Those that were offering more for lead gen and free signups and things like that, it seemed to help because it gave some social proof. In some countries, you're going to have problems with this type of software because it pulls in a face and a name, and unless you specifically get their permission to use that, you might run into some issues. So that's another thing to think about as well if you're going to use those types of products. So this is their landing page. Up here at the top left, you can see that there is this notification pops up, says allow or block. This is for people that are going to do push notifications to you. So if you're in a Chrome browser and you've got it open anywhere, they can send you a push notification that says, hey, pop this up on their screen. It pops up on your bottom right hand screen and it says, this website has a message for you, or here's some information that you need to know. So it's another way to connect with people and talk to them. Now this middle section is pretty cool psychologically from a micro commitment standpoint, but also from some of the things that it could allow them to do later on. Now, because I use Chrome, I've got autofill filled in, so my email automatically popped in there. I went in and deleted it. The first question they ask you is, can you put yourself into a bucket, literally? Are you working a typical job? Have you got an online business but not making much money? You got a business but you want to grow, right? Those are three different markets. The first two are primarily what they're targeting. Then they also included something else. If you don't include that something else bucket, it will cause problems because they'll get confused. They're like, well, none of those really apply. So you want to make sure that you give people an option for other, basically. If you're not familiar with this technique, this is something that Ryan Levesque has really been pushing a lot in the last couple of years. Or Ryan Levesque, I just found out yesterday he didn't pronounce his S, and I've known that. I just keep pronouncing it. He's got a book called Ask on Amazon. I'll post you guys a link to it as well if you want to get a better understanding of the methodology that he talks about. He runs a masterclass a couple times a year, but unfortunately it's closed right now. And then they follow it up with two questions. Why are you interested in building an email list driven lifestyle business? I think they could fix the wording on that a little bit, do a little testing, but again, that's much less worry than testing your headlines and other things. So why you want to do this? What is your why? The better information you can give them, the better they can use to kind of fine-tune ads that they're going to be doing and those kinds of things. And then the second question is the one that Ryan really focuses on. What's your biggest challenge? He calls this the single most important question you could ask, right? What's the one thing you could fix that would make everything better? The people that just post like one or two words, not really the ones you want to worry about. The ones that post a bunch of information, those are the ones that are passionate about what that hurt is, that pain, right? That's a pain point that you can use later on to modify your webinar, to improve your advertising, to improve your follow-up sequence, all those things. So if you're not collecting that kind of data, you need to start because it's fantastic. They got a nice little introduction video. You'll notice here it says YouTube, right? They do a lot of unlisted videos on YouTube for their hosting. They're not paying any video bandwidth. Some people get hung up on, oh, it looks unprofessional, but really it doesn't. I mean, so many people use it that it's not a big deal anymore. I don't think people worry about it too much. They're going to send you to a 3-part video series. We'll show you that in just a second and talk about it a little bit more. Then the standard, add to your calendar. And then this is the bottom half, right? Do you have any specific questions you'd like to have? And again, they stress that it's live training, and we'll cover that in a little bit. Not really impressed by their titles, online entrepreneur and success coach, master NLP trainer. If you're new, you may not know what NLP is. So I think those names could use some tweaking as well. And then this last one says, we want to talk to you, right? Can you give us your phone number? And they want to be able to reach out to you and have your permission to reach out and call you to talk about what could they do better, right? So they're going to follow up with people that don't buy. They're going to follow up with people that buy through their program. But the people that don't buy are the ones that they're interested in. Like, why didn't you buy? What didn't you think this program was for you? You can use those things, again, as feedback. And again, this is something else that I first learned going through Ryan's class and understanding the things that he's doing. So if you're not following him, you need to. They are on GoToWebinar, so it is a limited space setting. Once you answer those questions, it changes to this. This right here part, I really wish they'd have changed that to say something different. Because thank you for your information. Just change the whole headline because it leaves it a little bit disjointed. And I think there's things that they could have done better there to help you focus and take that next step and do those things. Like, hey, watch your email in the next 15 minutes. We're going to be sending you some great information on how to get started and a free quick bonus or something like that. So then we go to our email, right? I went and pulled it up. You get 2 emails, one from GoToWebinar and one from their Aweber account. I know a lot of people are going to go, oh, so old school, they're using Aweber, but hey, it works. And I'll show you in a little bit that they do hit the inbox as well, which is a pretty fantastic thing to do. I'm getting some water as I go. My throat's getting kind of dry. So I made copies of the 3 emails that they get. First from GoToWebinar is a custom written one. They cover the basics, why you want to be there, kind of reiterate the main bullet points that they had in the other one. Be there early. That's kind of something you want to talk about people doing as well. And then the standard add to your calendar. Well, in the one from Aweber, they also do the same thing. They follow it up again. Here's our live training. Here's when it is. Here's what we're going to do. Get on 15 minutes early. Here's your link. Notice there the link, and you're going to notice this several times from a branding standpoint. Their website is listlaunchpro.com, but their link here is listlaunchpro.training, so that they can have an entire tracking script set up to track these emails so they can follow their affiliates and do everything they're going to do. But it keeps their brand name inside the link no matter where, even though they're using a separate domain. Then at the very bottom, they give you another set of calendar buttons for iPhone, Google, Outlook, Outlook Online, and even Yahoo. So you know, if they'd have thrown AOL in there, we'd have known they were going old school and old people, right? And then the third one is your Quick Start video course. This is the first link you're going to get that kind of takes you to their video training. They're pretty short, and we're going to see they kind of follow the Jeff Walker 4-video format. So I'm going to skip to this next page. So this is the landing page, right, that you land on. Because I signed up on this on the last day, I got the last day's email that sent me to the 4th unlocked video. Watch this, and you can see up at the top, there's 4 videos, and each one of them has a different thing. Now, the format of each of them is pretty similar. This is the way they look. It's headline. So this is day 1. Download your email profit quick start guide. Again, I really wish they'd use the instant email quick start guide. Something to keep that title, because I think that hook is really powerful. They talk about their story. It's kind of short. They talk about how powerful email marketing is, the ROI that you can get on it. So they're reinforcing again the reason why email is so powerful and that you want to go through it. Their videos are fairly short. They're not real long. How to launch your business in a weekend is pretty good. They actually walk through how to do it and talk about it. So they give you the framework without actually all the details. They also have a countdown timer here. You can see that it's almost 11 hours before the webinar. Down at the bottom, they have Facebook comments so that you can post and also they'll get traction from it. Here's where I said that you probably would get in trouble on Facebook because there are testimonials that they have on this. So if Facebook ever actually does go through your funnel to this point, in 1 week I've gotten more results than I had in years. Up to 229 subscribers in 1 day, 1 sale. Those are all claims or implied claims. So you have to be careful with those if you're going to do it. So what you'd be doing if you were doing this as an affiliate is running this to a bridge page where you're giving people maybe a report on the easiest way to make money online, right? You want to make it short and simple and quick and talk about email marketing and how powerful it is. Now you can control it and own that asset because you're automatically pre-selling the concept of email marketing and then say, hey, by the way, here's a great webinar where you can learn more about it, and you send them to that webinar as well. So you want to put a page in there where you give value first and then send them to this. So I didn't publish all of it. It's about 7 pages. It's fairly big type. It's not anything groundbreaking other than reiterating. They do give a glossary, which I thought was nice, especially if you're dealing with new people, of here's some words that you're going to run into. Here's the language that we're speaking. Come learn with us and talk with us the same way we're going to. The Email Profit Quick Start Guide. Again, I think the instant email list profit guide would be so much better, but that's just me. And then they also give you a set of questions that we're going to ask, things that you can take notes with. So if you want to print this out and follow along, you can. It helps to keep people engaged in your webinar and helps to keep them answering and doing the things that you want to. So I'd broken this down before in my group because we were doing it 2 days. I did the first part when I signed up, and then I went and watched the webinar, and then I came back later and did it. I'm not going to go through the entire webinar because it was a pretty detailed webinar. One thing that I did do that I didn't talk about earlier was whenever you're doing funnel hacking or webinar funnel hacking is you want to sign up with two different emails, because one of them you're going to attend under and one of them you're not, because you want to see, do they have a separate set of follow-up emails. Now, so far, I got the same emails to both of them, right? I was a few minutes late getting there, so I got the one that says coming, hey, are you coming? We've just started. Want to make sure you're going on. It basically says the same thing. Here's the event, here's your link, and everything else. I did sign up for text messaging. I got one text 15 minutes before that says, hey, here it is. Here's your link. Come on in. And then the push notification that I was talking about is here in the section. It says, hey, we're getting ready to start. You can actually just click that link and it will take you straight to the webinar. So very well done follow-up initially. I wish I'd have signed up earlier for this webinar so I could see what they do day by day for like a week. And I may go through next week and sign up for it again just to see if there's any other emails or how they pre-sell the process all the way through, just to get those and include those in this thing that I'm doing later. So what kind of structure did they follow? Well, they pretty much followed the 3 secrets format that Russell Brunson teaches. If you want to get a copy of it, you can go to getperfectwebinarsecrets.com. I believe he sends it to you for like $6. You get a nice one-page flow layout that you can keep by your desk and look at. You get a CD with some training on it, but then you also get instant digital access as well. It's, I think, a little over an hour's worth of Russell walking through it. Russell does a lot of webinars, so his training is pretty solid. It's definitely something you want to follow up on. So their webinars, introduction, here's our story, here's the product, here's the secrets that we're going to tell you, here's the offer, right? Their offer came in at about 45 minutes, maybe a little bit after, but the total webinar lasted 2 hours and 15 minutes. They started with the offer and then they kept piling on bonuses, going back through stacks, answering some objections. It was a very well done webinar if you are the target market. If you are new to internet marketing, this was a very well done marketing webinar, and they knew the push buttons, psychological buttons that people are going to be pushed to want to make them take the next step as well. One of the things that Russell talks about a lot, and he says he learned it from Armin Morin, and I think I've seen Armin do it before as well in other presentations and some other people, but is to end your webinar with a stack. You want to stack the value of what you're getting. So here's some of the stacks that these guys went, and I'll be honest, they went through it again and again and again, and even came back to it later on, and we'll walk through that in just a second. I'm going to let you look at this for a second while I grab me a quick drink of water. So they give you 10 done for you, and the LLP is a name that they used. It was the L3 cloning method, I think they called it. It was one of their keywords, and I didn't cover that earlier, but it's something important. When you are doing your own product, one of the things that's most important is to come up with a name for it and stick with it, because no one else can have your product, your name. Other people can say, well, I've got something similar, but they can't have the L3 cloning method or the LLP platform. LLP is List Launch Pro, but they called it their L3 cloning method. And that is a name and a technique that you can use in any product that you're doing. Their instant traffic database is a set of what it appeared to be solo ad vendors and other marketplaces where you can buy banners and other things to buy traffic to your landing pages that they're going to help you create. The software does all that for you for products. The Millionaire Mindset video. Mindset is extremely important, so they add that in as a bonus. And then world-class support. I haven't tested their support, so I don't know, but world-class support is something that is pretty valuable if you need it, especially if you're new, right? Because you know, hey, I may have questions. Am I going to get help, or are they just going to ignore me? So they put a pretty good sized value on this as well. Then the second one, they come back and add more, right? How to get your fast start video for your first 5,000 email subscribers. Now, if you've got a list of 100,000, 5,000 doesn't mean anything. But if you're brand new and you don't have anybody on a list, that's kind of valuable to you. It's like, how do I get started? I know I got to get some critical mass. If I got 5 people, it doesn't mean anything. Preloaded with your affiliate link 45-day email sequences. I don't want to have to write a bunch of emails if I'm brand new. I don't want to think about all this stuff. So they do it for you. And then they have monthly coaching calls every month. We'll talk about that a little bit in their guarantee as well. So they're automatically doing this to be able to get people to be successful. Now, they have a vested interest in people being successful, because one of the things that they're teaching people to do is how to make money through affiliate sales. And the products that they're helping them to get to sale, guess what? Are their products. So those affiliate sales are helping them as well. So they want their people to be successful. They want them to do everything they can. And then the next level training course is how do you create your own product? How do you create something that you can get all the money for and then go out and get other affiliates to do it for you? So again, they create this stack, right? They shrink it up. Here's the things that you were getting. Oh, by the way, here's another bonus. How to create and launch a product in a weekend. How to turn words into cash copywriting, because copywriting is so important. How to get free traffic. Those are things, and the word secrets, people like secrets, right? Free traffic secrets are these things other people don't know. So they keep building the value. And they came back and repeated this stack after they'd gone through the pricing, after they had talked about how to get the discount, how to get all these things. They've stayed on this page because this page is high value in your webinar. If you don't have one today, you really need to get one. Guarantees. Guarantees, a lot of people say don't use them. A lot of people say they're invaluable. Unique guarantees get people's attention. The purpose of a guarantee is to do risk reversal, right? If someone's getting ready to buy a product from you, they're concerned that, am I going to get what I'm supposed to do? What value am I getting? Well, they're given two guarantees, basically. One of them they don't talk about. Because they use ClickBank as their vendor, you automatically get a 60-day money-back guarantee on it. But then they're also saying, if you don't make at least $5,000 in 60 days doing what we tell you to, we will work with you until you do. Again, they have a vested interest in you being successful. So they want you to generate $5,000 because it means you've made them $5,000 as well. They have a vested interest in this. It's a perfect guarantee though, because it reverses the risk. It says we will work with you as long as possible. We will keep helping you. Again, who's their audience? Their avatar. Is it someone new to internet marketing who's just getting started, is concerned about, well, I don't understand the technology. What if I don't know what I'm doing? Am I going to get the help I need? They're probably going to be older. They're going to need some hand holding to do this stuff. That's what they're telling them. We will work with you until we get it done. So then their order page, right? Actually, this is their order page. You land on it. When you put in the coupon code here, I got it blanked out, by the way. It says it's valid, but it doesn't change the price. Now, they reiterate right here. What are you going to get? They want you to know again, what are you getting? It's always a good idea on your order form to reiterate the things you're going to get to reinforce that. I blanked out my PayPal email address because I don't want you guys sending me money. But you can see I'm using that tracking email here as well. No dot between my name. This is what happens when you land on the page, right? Once you put in the coupon, all of a sudden, and go to the next page, you get it. Now, ClickBank's guarantee is here. They didn't talk about it, but it is there because of who they use. And if you look here, this is a nice micro commitment, right? You have to click next, which does two things. One, it allows them to capture that email in the background so that if you leave something in your cart and don't purchase it, they can come get you, which I did. And I'll show you the email that they sent me on that as well. So it saves $508, right? They also did something very creative, I think. They're using PayPal as one of their payment gateways. And they talk about PayPal credit. You can set this up inside your PayPal business account to be able to offer PayPal credit on the products that you sell if they're high ticket. And it takes all the risk off you. You get your money up front. PayPal credit takes the risk. And it allows people to get financing if they want to stretch out their payments, if they want to do other things. This time of year, especially around the holidays when money may be tight, but they want something and you're running a deadline and a sale, it's a great way for them to be able to get your product without having to really stretch things. Or some people just like to finance things because it's easier for them. PayPal handles it all. You don't have to deal anything. So it's a pretty good deal. So they use this coupon code. Remember how I talked about that booklet that they had where they ask you to fill in the blanks, right, to keep your attention? Well, they also talked about how we're going to ask questions, and if you get them right, we're going to give you a coupon code where you can save some money. It's a great scarcity technique because at the very end, they talked about the coupon code, and the way they positioned it was, has everybody gotten their coupon codes that answered the questions right? And the guy was like, no, I'm in the process of still sending them. Hold off for a second. So they were able to go through and do it some more. Then at the very end, they said, we've got a limited number of these coupon codes. When you go to this page, if the coupon still works, fantastic, you're in, you're good to go. If it doesn't, then you're too late, right? Now, downside of this is I'm pretty sure it's fake scarcity. I don't think they had built-in coupon code limitations. Most people don't, but if you're selling like a group coaching program and you're only going to do 30 people or 20 people and you truly want to put a limit on these, there's carts out there that can do it like ThriveCart. ThriveCart can let you put a an actual real limit on coupon codes, so it may not work anymore. And then you could go, hey, that coupon code's not working. Here's another one. It's not as much of a savings. Then here's what you can do. So it allows you to build true, real scarcity as people go through it to do it. So if you're not using a coupon code, it's something to do because one, it lets them get in their head it's not $14.97, but you've established the value at well more than that. Now they're still saving money, and it allows them to go to the next one. Something they did that I think they should probably split test, and they say they have, so I'm going to assume that they got better results doing it this way than the other way. They went ahead and talked about their split payment plan on the webinar. Most webinars that I've been on, they do this in their follow-up sequence, right? They work for a day or a day and a half to get you to buy one-time payment, especially since you got PayPal credit. Then they'll come back with a, we know a lot of people are tight this time of year. We're looking to do this, so we put in a split pay so that you can pay for it over the next couple of months. And then introduce that. So you want to move the majority of your people into a one-time payment, because the problem with split pays is you're not going to get all three payments from everybody. So it's money that you're losing. Now, they do increase the price, so you'll see that they are probably adjusting for that in the split pay payments, and maybe that's what you're doing it for, because they talk about that. They probably would be better off putting it in there and saying, here's what your value is, split pay versus paying it all up front, and behooves people to do it to make that math simpler for them. On the split payment, it's basically 3 payments of $395. So you remember the other way was like 800 something bucks, almost 900 bucks. This way is closer to 1,200 bucks. So you are losing a couple $100, and you're only getting a couple $100 savings by using that discount code. So they are and they aren't. They're making more money if people pay, but I guarantee they've looked at the number of people that drop off, and they're probably collecting just about as much money on the upfront as they are on the split pay, even though they may convert a few more people. Now, the good thing on this is that, like I said, they have a vested interest in their students being successful. So even if they only get one payment out of this person, and then the person's successful with what they do, then they can make the second payment and then the third payment. But they're also generating sales for them as they go through it. So in their case, it may make more sense because of their overall business model and what they're doing and how they look at it. Then at the very end, they came back and they did this super bonus. This was about hour and a half into the webinar, maybe a little bit more. Notice the scarcity on the page, right? Only for the next 5 people only. Well, I guarantee you they're not going to exclude the people that have already bought and already been the movers. Of course, most of those people probably aren't on the webinar anymore. They've gone to start the process and what they can do it. He had a real cool story about how the Rainmaker email campaign name came up. If you're in the sales process at all, rainmaking or being a rainmaker is a common term. It's another way, though, at the very end to push people that are still on your webinar but aren't committed to move them over. Just one more bonus for these people, one more bonus. You want to be able to do that. If you're doing it live and taking objection calls, you want to answer all the objections, because that's the way that you can find out is it something you haven't covered as well. So cart abandonment, right? Like I talked about, I use that tracking email, so it's easy for me to keep up with these. Hey, we see you left something in there. Apologize if our cart gave you any problems. Here's where you can get it. Just go here, click the buttons. There's the without the pain in the butt tech stuff that keeps most people stuck, right? They follow it up with their PS of here's another reason why you want to do it. We take care of all those things for you. So if you don't have a list abandonment email series set up, you need to definitely think about that, because a bunch of people are going to get to your cart and not purchase. So those people are interested enough to go look at it. You need to work to convert those. You've already paid all the money to get them on your webinar, to get them to show up for your webinar, to stay through your webinar. They went and looked at your cart. They're just one objection away from buying. Put a process in place to actually deal with those people and get them going. So on my other account, the one that didn't attend, what kind of follow-up did I get? I've only done it through this morning, so it's only been, 18 hours or so since the webinar. I got one email from them that says, here's your replay. There's a picture reiterating why you want to do it, kind of the headline again, and go watch the replay again. Replay is a pretty straightforward page. Again, the replay is hosted on YouTube. There's a delayed buy button on the page, so they can't automatically go to the checkout page if they haven't watched the webinar, because you want to go through the pre-sale process before you let somebody go look at the price and go, oh, I can't afford that, and get rid of it. I really wish they'd kept their headline pretty similar, the instant email solution or something like that to stay that hook. It's a good headline here, but I'm sure they've tested it. It's just something that you may want to test if you're doing this yourself. They got a countdown clock, and we'll see over the next 2 days to do some follow-up emails as well. So that's it for the webinar presentation. If you are not part of webinar marketing, hey, would love you guys to come on over. We've got a pretty good group. We've been doing quite a few of these lives. We've been doing some polls and things to do, some deals when I find software deals or other training deals that you can get. Here's where you can see I break them down. So I put them on Facebook first, and then I bring them back to YouTube. So I hope you guys are having a fantastic and wonderful day, and look forward to seeing you on the inside.